We are live. We'll call the Village of Mount Sterling Council meeting for October 11th, 2021 to order. Roll call.
David?
Here.
Melanie?
Here.
Greg?
Here.
Becky?
Here.
Jay?
Here.
Andy?
Here.
All's present?
Okay. David, you want to lead us prayer?
Lord, be with our village tonight, Lord, and help us make the decisions and touch us with the wisdom we need to make the decisions for our citizens in the village. Be with our mayor and council and help them as we go through this evening, and also be with all the people tonight, Lord, across this country, and touch them with your healing hand. In Jesus' wonderful name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes from the work session held on September 27th, 2021, and a council meeting held on September 27th, 2021.
You have that motion? Second.
David? Greg?
Craig, roll call?
David?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And I'll circulate the signatures.
Mayor's report, I have just a couple of things. First of all, I hope everybody's noticed the flags over by the gazebo. I think they did an excellent job. I know Robert could probably report on it because I think you sat over there all day and watched them, didn't you? It's pretty amazing how quickly they were able to get those up and how nicely they look. It doesn't appear that they've disturbed too much of the flowers over there that I could tell.
No, and actually, yeah, well, I think the biggest concern was that the flags were going to be too big, and but they're actually just
they're very tasteful.
Very
Yeah.
tasteful, very well done.
It's nice because sometimes when they all get in unison, it's really neat to just sit and watch them. They're very beautiful. So thank you to the VFW, the American Legion for doing that project for the village. It's very nice. Also, I wanted to point out it's National Pastors Month. So if you have a pastor that you want to say thank you to, I know they go through a lot of things during their tenure as a pastor at church, life, death, and everything in between. So thank you to all of our Mount Sterling pastors for the jobs that you do. And then candidates night is tomorrow night at the Mercantile. Doors open at 6:30, and I believe it begins at 7. So we'd like to see people out there to question the candidates for both council seats, 4 council seats, and is it 3 positions for Township?
Only one's running opposed, though.
Oh, really? Okay. And that's what I have at the moment. President Pro Tem report, Jay?
All right, thank you. Just wanted to, just address the community. Just our council members have been working very hard this last, 2 weeks, or for the last little while now. We just had a lot going on. Of course, our committees are going strong, navigating through a lot and just getting things in order. Also, with our getting the budget approved, looking at different items, and just navigating through, of course, the budget. And how that works is, we come up with our budget, what we feel is what needs to be in there. We send it to the state. Since we're under fiscal emergency, we have to have them look it over, and then they respond back and forth. And so we are in that process. At the same time, we got letters from the EPA. We have a lot of things in this village we're addressing, from the water tower to the valves to the park, different things. So this council has been working very hard of trying to navigate a lot of different issues, concerns, and also just in a very short amount of time. So I am thankful to the council members for kind of showing up to the meetings and just having discussions, no matter how easy or hard they are. And so we have been hard and work at that. I know we have, again, as the mayor said, we have the candidate night tomorrow night, so I do encourage the community to get out and at least, if you don't even have questions, just to listen to what the candidates have to say. 'Cause of course, it's always important. Every election is very important. Same time, our committees, same time we have meetings just like tonight. Encourage the community to get involved, show up, ask questions. And that's what I have to report.
Thank you. Public comment and visitors. Tonight we have Joyce Phillips of 205 New Street here to discuss parking on London Street and Mason Park issue. So if you want to come up to one of the microphones here on the corner, just, that would be helpful.
My first question is, at the last meeting, they discussed closing off the street here for the haunted house. And I'm fine with the haunted house, but I am opposed to the parking being closed on Sunday morning because we have a lot of handicap and elderly people that go to the church, the 3CU church. So I would like to see what you're going to do about making sure that's open for those people.
Which church? The one by the dairy freeze? Well, he really wants, we close it technically that far so the trucks and things know where to turn on the side streets, but we never have really, have a problem with, because the actual event, the screen that he wants to put up is gonna be kind of in front of Chase. So, the church is all the way down at the corner. So I don't know that there would be any problem with them still parking in front of the church as long as they turn and don't come through.
What time do they, what time do they start coming in?
We start Sunday school at 9:30. I don't want to maybe if whatever, I really would like to assurance.
Well, the event's not until 2.
But he said last meeting, they were going to keep the street closed and they weren't going to open it up for Sunday morning. Because I don't know who, but somebody asked them that. And he said, no, it's too much trouble to open it.
Yeah, I don't see, me personally, I know when we did this last street market, there were cars that were parked down past where the vendors are, even though the street's closed, cars were still allowed to park in there. Because if you move the no parking sign all the way down to Chase, then you're gonna have trucks that come up that far and they can't get out. You know what I mean?
It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
It's going to be confusing to our people. So I'd kind of like,
Let me ask you a question, Joyce. And this is more, maybe we can navigate with the church too. Maybe, again, we can navigate with, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, the gentleman. I lost his head. Corbin, thank you. I wonder if we can coordinate, we can talk with the church too. Maybe we can have some gentlemen out there, and I hear what you're saying too. We don't want to, at the same time we do that, yeah, then we'll get trucks piling, and I get that, like you said, and I know Mr. Corbin said we'd all that on the street, and I get that. I wonder if we can coordinate, maybe have a conversation with pastor, or with the leader, whoever the leader, and maybe we can get some guys out there that can open it up, especially if they know they're the church's members. Does that make sense? I'm just saying, just trying that way too, because I'm trying to, I say we're trying to find a balance here, and but I also want the church to be very, very open to all the, the seniors and or people that had that handicap accessibility. I think we should be able to, I would think, be able to coordinate between everybody, even, if we have to get the deputy to help out. I'm just not throwing the sheriff out there, but.
I understand what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
But I'm asking for assurance that someone will be out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we can have that discussion, let's, I'm open to have that discussion with church leadership if we can find some volunteers, even if I have to stand out there.
What time do you feel everybody has left the church?
12:30, quarter to 1,
Usually it's 1:45.
quarter to 1, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they just need that blocked off, like you said, because there's gonna be some props set up around the bank.
Right, I understand
And so,
that.
like, what I envision, and we've done this before, you have your great big sign in the middle of the road on London Street, down by the
Right.
dairy freeze in your church.
Right.
And then all you would simply have to do is have a more interior barrier, you know what I mean? And then the parking could come on through, and like Jay said, probably just have someone standing there saying there's for church parking only. And you could probably even pull through the bank parking lot and get out, because there's no need for the bank parking lot to be closed off either. But the reason, again, you have to close the road there is so the big semis don't start pulling,
So you're okay if I go back to church Sunday morning and say, it's going to say no parking, but you can park there?
It won't necessarily say no parking, it'll say road closed. There's a
Okay.
large road closed sign, and
Okay.
that's why I think if I can read into what Jay and Becky are saying is, You could have an individual, either from the church or from the village, either one, wave individual cars through, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. I don't think would have any opposition to that. If you need to do handicap accessible offloading right in front of the church front door, I think that would be amenable to everybody. I don't see any physical reason why you couldn't accommodate it, because the road closed sign is right in the middle of the street, and it's London Street's wide, so it's 60 feet wide. So the sign itself is only gonna be, right in the middle. You could wave, if you have, a deacon or some person who could wave individuals in, I don't see any reason why you couldn't park there. It's not really a question of parking so much as it is a question of closing the road to ongoing traffic.
Okay.
But the only problem I see is still with the side street, where people park right there along the side of the church. They won't be able to park there
Right.
because the semi's making the wide turn.
Wide turn.
Yeah, but do you guys utilize the bank parking lot normally during church
No,
services?
they park down the side.
Well,
side
maybe they
streets.
could use the bank parking lot that Sunday.
Yeah, they
They
used
used to
to-
use the bank.
The pastor and some of the handicapped people, they use the parking
Yeah.
on the side.
But the side would have to be closed to parking.
Okay, well, that is going to be inconvenient. I just want to say, and I don't want to be rude, I wish the council would consider our church before they commit to a lot of these things, because that is a terrible inconvenience. So, I mean, I'll talk to the pastor and we'll work something out. I mean, but I'm telling you, we're going to park there on the street, on London Street. I don't know what they're going to do on the side street next to the Dairy Freeze. I'll talk to the pastor about that. But we'll get that worked out.
Yeah, that's only, 3 or 4 spots on that side street.
And you had another issue
I
about
do.
Mason Park?
There was some mention, I think at the last meeting, about some things that were going on at Mason Park as far as some things, and I think maybe we've talked about it before, but I guess my question is, have we received any updates about what's going on with the wells or whatever that are down there? Are we gonna have to take those bathrooms back out?
That's part of what Jay was referring to earlier, that we are working on that with the EPA, and, assuring them with some timelines and that sort of thing to satisfy them, yes.
So is that cost going to come out of our budget in the village?
We don't anticipate any
Okay,
cost.
it's one person shaking her head yes and another one saying no. So,
Who's
We were-
shaking their head yes?
Yeah.
We had a budget meeting about it, and we do not anticipate any cost with that. Very little, if any. Madison County Health Department is volunteered to pull that,
Not the health department.
Madison County Water
Yeah.
Department has volunteered to pull that holding tank out free of charge, which was close to $5,000 was the bid, so that's gonna be free.
and those buildings are going to stay as they are then?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. That takes us to department reports. Sheriff?
I don't have a report this week. It's Monday, a holiday, so Matt was off. I couldn't get the report.
Is there anything that you would like to comment on about things in the village right now?
No, other than the parking issue, I don't see it as gonna be a problem, but elderly people, they're used to certain things, and so you're gonna have somebody down there guiding them. That's a given.
I can tell you that I've seen traffic pattern huge change since the bridge is open.
Yes, me too.
At just good parts of the day. So that means when kids are getting on and off school buses, we do not have the volume of traffic. It's dropped by probably 50%. Now, that said, is it gonna go up and down? Yes, it's gonna go up and down. But overall, I would say speeding in particular down London has been better than it has been in an awful long time. Well, 6 months to be it. So,
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Law director report, we don't have anything from Stephen. Misty will be at the next meeting. Zoning and building. Christy, would you like to introduce who you brought with you today?
I would. I actually brought our chief building inspector, Tim Revenue. We wanted you to get a face and a name, and he's the other white truck running around here doing building and zoning.
Are you getting familiar with Mount Sterling?
I am, yes.
Good. Well, welcome to the team, and do you have anything to?
Also about 62 bridges open, by the way. Siri never figured it out.
Absolutely, no question about
You're
it.
excited, but it's like, oh, the address is over there.
Do you have anything from Tom that you wanted to report?
I do not, if you want to report on numbers and stuff like that, though, I can wait to the next meeting on how many permits and stuff was issued.
No, that would be great.
Yeah, I can do that.
That'd be great. Okay. That takes us to fiscal officer report.
What do you need? Okay, so, any questions from council? I didn't receive any feedback or questions or concerns. What you have in front of you is your September reports, your monthly reports, as well as the approval for your bank rec for the month of September. Again, we are winding down. We have about 2.5 months left for the year. So as we know, numbers that you will be seeing on your reports will be close to 75% or could exceed or be at 100%, just depending upon what that charge is for. Again, just as a reminder, we do have our commission committee meeting on October the 20th at 10 a.m. Thus far, it is here at Town Hall in person. So if that changes, I will certainly update the website. Again, revenues are above what was budgeted, and of course, expenditures are below what was budgeted. So that's always a good position to be in. Is there any questions in regards to your monthly reports? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the September bank reconciliation. This has been accounted for and balanced to the penny. It also has been sent to the state auditor for his review, as it always is. And you will see that there is an adjustment out here for $245.55 or 57 cents, and that was due to some return checks in the water department. Okay? So with that said, if there are no questions, a motion would be asked for the appropriation status report. This is for the approvals of the revenue status report, the receipt listing report, the payment listing report, comparison of budget and appropriated, the cash summary by fund report, the reader report, and the bank reconciliation for September of 2021.
I'll give you that motion.
Second?
Andy and Jay?
Melanie?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Becky? Yes. Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Okay, so I will have 3 pieces of documentation to be circulated for your approval, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. That takes us to committee reports. Finance, Andy?
Couple of comments. Finance Committee met this morning to review the forecast for the remainder of the year. We're in Q4. We have tried to manage the budget very tightly over the course of the year and the course of last year in order to have carryover. We anticipate using at least some of that carryover next year to deal with infrastructure problems identified by the EPA report. And so that's what that money is there for. You manage your budget tightly in order to do that. So with that said, we were able to preserve most of the budget for, and as we're going to review that, we reviewed that rather in a meeting last Friday. We were able to preserve most of the budget for 2022 unchanged, even as a result of that, because we were conservative about how we managed money going into this year. The good news is that revenues are holding where they should. As Courtney said, expenditures are flat to down. It's where they should be. And we're going to be dealing with unexpected hiccups in the road next year. Some of this is going to include a water tower, as Craig has said on a lot of different occasions. Valve exercises are going to cost money. We didn't necessarily want these things to happen, but they're going to happen. We have to pay for them. We have a savings account, and that's what that's there for. So I appreciate everyone's input as it's gone forward. This has been a rough year. We're going to get after it, and hopefully 2022 is going to be solid. We're going to manage to the money we got. That's how it works. So I appreciate it, and I'll turn it back over to you all.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasant Township, Melanie?
Pleasant Township held their meeting October 4th. There wasn't a whole lot on the agenda. They did accept a grant. They got a $70,000. I guess they're getting a couple installments. So that money is to be used to fix roads and things in the township. They are going to participate in our community cleanup day. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I don't know if it ran in the messenger yet, but I know they had an ad. They were going to put an ad in there. The township will have a dumpster down at 71 and 56 across the street from BP in that empty lot right there. They said, you can come, bring as much as you want until it's full. When it's full, then they pull it. And there's supposed to be some guys there that are going to help people unload if they have loads in their car that they need help. So that is going to be addition to, I believe there's going to be 2 dumpsters here in the village. And Community Cleanup Day is October 23rd. So hopefully we can get rid of.
Can I make one comment about that?
Yes.
This is an absolutely fantastic event that's a joint event between the village and
Right.
trustees. This is an awesome thing. That said, there's a couple of different things about the other one where they can drop those tires off and things.
Correct.
So I think we should have been doing this a long time ago. This is a great idea, and hats off to everybody who's organized it. And by the way, I think they're looking for volunteers, are they not?
Always.
Always?
Always.
So if somebody would like to volunteer, where do they go to? What do they do? They show up on the morning of?
Are you talking about?
No, in general, the cleanup
For
day.
the
If someone
cleanup
would
day.
like,
I'm
yeah, if someone would like to volunteer for that.
Yeah, I'm something like that one.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just
a
getting, you're just getting
nuisance.
excited. It's okay.
No, I
steal his
just happened to notice that the rules changed. I want to make sure people know about that, that's all.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll address that.
Okay, thank you.
And all 4 of the candidates that are going to be on the ballot for the election for township were at the meeting, and I extended the invitation to all 4 of them. Even if they're running unopposed, they should get out and speak to us and let us know what their plans are. So I extended that invitation. I hope they all come and let us know their plans. And that was pretty much it. It was a really quick meeting. So their next meeting is Monday, November 1st, 7 p.m. at the Township Building.
Thank you. Squad, Jay.
All right. Well, nothing to report at this time, but we do have a meeting this Wednesday, which is the 13th at 8 p.m. when we meet over at the conference room over in the Squad Bay.
Very good. Fire, Craig?
We had a short meeting. We paid the bills, and under old business, the chiefs reported they got their grant for their scoop, their air packs,
What was it?
and
Yeah.
air packs.
That's CBA's, self-contained breathing apparatus.
Yeah, they got, and
That.
they're getting individual, each one of them's getting one, so they don't have to use somebody else's, so. So they got the grant, and that was pretty much the meeting. It was over pretty quick. And the next meeting's October 28th.
Okay. Water, wastewater.
Courtney updated us on our meters that we have 74 tentatively to be installed, and they're going to be started on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We also had a yard hydrant over at the old water plant that was leaking, and it was repaired today. And then also that Sue will be leaving our backup at the end of the year, so we'll be needing to fill that position and post some ads for a part-time backup water clerk.
Okay, and with that said, if you don't mind me
Yeah.
asking, I'm sorry.
I said Sue's leaving at the end of the month, not the end of the year.
Yeah. Thank you.
During the Water Wastewater Committee meeting, we talked about wanting to replace her and advertise for her position. It was agreed and a motion to be asked if we could advertise for a part-time water clerk position at a maximum of 160 hours. That could be negotiable, just depending upon the training and the type of skills that maybe the candidate has. This would be a yearly, hourly, $15 an hour as a 1099. So would you guys, and this would be advertised for 2 weeks or whatever motion you guys want to place in that. Usually it's 2 weeks, and then we reevaluate and reassess if it needs to be extended.
Somebody want to place that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Craig and David? Roll call?
Craig,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Andy?
Yep.
David?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Okay, motion's passed. I do have an update, if I may, go ahead and add to your comment, is that the hydrant has been repaired correctly, and it was a very easy, quick fix that was handled by our village employees, so I do want to thank them for always doing a great job, and I know there's only the two of them, but I can't thank them enough for all the hard work that they do, because a lot of these two projects that we're talking about were expended for contractual services, and we are taking it upon ourselves to save money to not do that contractually. So I just want to thank them for all their hard work, because they are always ready and willing to do and jump into any sort of project. The next project that we're going to tackle is going to be on Thursday, so if you see them out and about, there's another project.
Courtney, I got a question. We're going to be flushing the hydrants next week, right?
Yeah, so I was gonna put that in my roundtable, but yes, since you
Okay.
brought it up, hydrant flushing will be performed by the fire department the week of October the 18th through the 22nd. And again, if residents are experiencing, and you will, and possibly could be experiencing any discoloration or any sediment coming through your toilets or that you can see visibly, please don't be alarmed. The only time that we really want to know if there is an issue is if you don't have water at all. Okay, so just you may be experiencing some of that discoloration, but
Yeah.
that will be for the week of October the 18th through the 22nd.
And also, November the 3rd will be the next water meeting at 9 a.m. Wednesday. That's it.
Street, Andy.
We met on October 6th. We were talking about how to proceed with the next set of pothole patching. We'd like to have our staff do the next round of these because we have the materials and we can do it actually pretty well. The question was, do we want to tackle big ones or not so big ones? We really would like professionals to tackle the big ones because they're permanent. But anyway, we laid out the sort of the next steps on that, so I'm pleased to say we should be able to tackle at least some of those. We also discussed what to do with respect to shrinking down some of the projects we really wanted to get done for 2022 because the auditor has trimmed back our budget. We had put in a request for $54,000 in supplementary funding, and that got whacked. So that's caused us to shrink the overall approach we're going to do for projects next year. So on that note, the next streets meeting will be November 3rd at 8 a.m. and we continue to plow forward on streets, hopefully not with snow. Not right now. Not yet.
Oh, Parks and Rec felony. How do you top that?
I don't know.
Dad jokes, I got a lot of them.
So we had our meeting October 4th. Events in the village are kind of dying down into summer. So we did put money in the budget for next year. We're going to continue with the movie nights. That was a big hit. We discussed the grant. We have a big grant coming up. We are getting ready to apply for. We're going to need some engineering drawn up, things, but engineering designs for the park, what we want. We're going to need some drawings done so we can submit it with the grant. We got an example letter from West Jeff, what they had applied for and what their application looked like. And I believe Marcy got a copy Friday from London of what theirs looked like. So we kind of know, what they asked for, what kind of things we can ask for. And sometime in the next few weeks, Marcy is going to meet with me or Becky, and we're going to get the letter put together and get, apply for this grant. So that's really exciting. I hope we can do some big, great things at the park. We did talk about Jeff's budget. He has done a ton at the park, a ton of mowing. He's got the gazebo looking beautiful. He's running out of hours for the year. His budgeted monies is getting used up. So we're just going to kind of keep an eye on it. Mowing's dying down. It's the end of the year. We might have to reassess and ask for more money if we need him to help us plow the streets this year. If we get a whole bunch of snow at the end of the year, we will not have the money for Jeff to help us out with that. So that's just something that we're gonna keep an eye on and reassess that when we have our next meeting. Our next meeting is November 1st. And with that said, I'm gonna let Courtney go over the grant so we can apply for it.
Yeah, so again, with all grants, we do ask for a motion to apply for that, and then we will ask for a motion to accept it. So this motion would be to apply for the 2022 capital state budget grant for the park, and strictly for the park.
You hear that motion?
I'll second.
Okay.
So it's Becky and Melanie.
Okay.
Second. Roll call?
Becky?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, motion's passed.
Okay. Is there anything else?
That's it?
Record of retention, Andy?
We have not yet actually met this month, and our monthly meeting is tentatively being moved to October 22nd at 8 a.m.
Nuisance and abatement, Jay?
All right. Since Andy stole my thunder earlier, I'll bring what I can.
No tires.
No tires. So absolutely no tires. No, so back to what we talked about, 1023, it's a Make a Difference Day. We're also doing our community cleanup. There's a lot going on. I know the community center has an event, so let's just make it one big, huge village event. This is another community cleanup day where we've done before, where if you have, of course, we would like to help individuals out that need help. So one thing we do is someone with the truck, or actually anybody, volunteers if you have trucks. Sometimes myself, Andy and I rode together in a pickup truck with a trailer once, and we drove around and picked up furniture to pool table things, just different types of sofas. Yeah, we definitely picked up sofas that cats lived in. Great. We're here for you. It was worth it. But no, that's what we do to help out, because obviously there's individuals who can't quite do that type of work, and I know Becky and her husband's in it. I mean, the whole crew of us has been out there, and it's always fun. It's always a ton of fun to get out there and help the community. We actually have 2 dumpsters, I believe, right, Courtney? McClellan donated. McClellan and also the Masons donated each a dumpster. Same thing as what's happening over by the BP is once they're full, they're full. I do request individuals to please be respectful, not throwing cement in these dumpsters. We had individuals doing that. Also, if the dumpster is not there and it's been picked up, please don't be very disrespectful and dumping all your trash in the middle of the Nazarene parking lot. That happened last time as well, and I had to get up there at 1:30 in the morning to clear up stuff so they can have church the next day. So I don't want to do that again, but let's be cool about that. Anyway, so what we encourage is, of course, volunteers. If you need community hours, we actually had a mom and she had 3 daughters did community service. They helped in cleanup. So we definitely will help with that. If you have community hours you need to gain, great opportunity to do that. Also, just the different parks, the different communities. I know there's households that probably need a little help with certain things, especially in nuisance and abatement. We get notified of houses that maybe have a lot of overgrowth. Or just weeds, and sometimes it is circumstantial. They're just physically not able to do it. They're sick, things like that. And we want to take this opportunity, instead of, so to say, punishing them or getting on them, we can use this opportunity to be a blessing. And so that's kind of a key thing there. So again, that's 10:23. We're probably going to start roughly around 9 a.m. We normally end around late lunchtime. That's usually when everything dies down, especially when we have a lot of volunteers. Everybody just goes nuts with it, which is great. So the more volunteers, the better. It goes faster. We can do more cleanup, more impact that way, and all that. So there's that. If you have questions, please call the town hall. Bombard Courtney with every single call and email you can get. She loves it.
Report that too. So I mean, if you do have pickups,
Yes.
call us and say
Yes.
that you have a pickup and what it is.
Yes, please, yeah, so tell us, don't, you can ask questions, but if you have it, please tell us so we know we come to you. So if we have enough addresses, we try to do a route, so that way we're not just running across town 50 times, and we can be a little more organized, so please do that. I don't have a next meeting as TBD still, because I know we have a lot going on, and we have different schedules, so I will let our teammates know about the next meeting, which is hopefully soon. I'm trying to think here if there's anything. Kind of went blank on top of my head. Nope, everything's been running straight. We appreciate the community working hard with us. If we get calls or complaints, we're addressing them. So we do appreciate the responses we're getting back. But other than that, that is all I have to report.
Is the fall decorating thing gonna be run through you, or do you know any more about that for the house decorating thing?
Oh, the Chamber of Commerce will be, yeah.
Okay,
I can speak to that in a minute if you want.
okay, yep. Safety block watch, David.
On the safety block watch, I have to cancel my October meeting. I got a big meeting with the toe doctor tomorrow for an ingrown toenail, and it's been killing me, but I dread the trip. But it's got to be done. But I'm going to try to have a major meeting in early November to discuss some issues. And also, Jack, is it, there going to be a drug take back in the end of the month?
Yeah, the 23rd.
The 23rd, I was gonna.
Oh, that's the
report that
23rd too? Okay.
And this is very important, if you got anything that you think you want to get rid of. I've took stuff down before you can get rid of if you got even old aspirin or anything, to keep it out of the hands of somebody who could use it for something. And
And it's located right behind Town Hall.
yes, and they're really good about
We'll be out
taking
there.
things.
There
And
are several
yeah.
deputies that will be out there.
yeah, and also I want to bring up, I won't need the telephone, but I do want to bring up, a lot of people have been, I see it myself, they leave their car doors open at the gas station sometimes and run and get that gas. And Jack would probably tell you the same thing. That's an open invitation for some teen to take a free ride. So make sure you watch for stuff like that. And I'm hoping to have this toenail taken care of, because if I can't walk, I can't really feel good to myself. So I just got to watch out for bricks dropping on my toe anymore. So I'll just be truthful.
I just appreciate the image I'm going to have for the rest of the night. I know. I appreciate it.
Very descriptive.
Just-
I have that, yeah. But it was one of them freak accidents I couldn't help.
Is there any chance to schedule that safety meeting this month?
We
like
could
with
have
all
it
of
at
council?
maybe the last week of October, if that would be good for everybody. Would that be good for you, Becky?
For a special,
For a
Hey,
work session, a safety
Yeah,
work
yeah,
session?
we could do that, yeah, that'd be
That
fine.
that would be great.
Yeah, we'll just schedule sometime in October, it'll be good. Because I know my toe will be feeling better than Becky too. I appreciate it, that's all I got to report.
Jack, do you know the times of the
10 to 2.
10 to 2?
What day is that on again, Jack?
23rd.
Oh, it's the same day?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
Just get rid of everything.
10 to 2, is that what you
Yeah.
said?
Clean your closets and your cupboards and your drug cabinet and, all right. Planning and zoning, Andy.
I'm just recovering for a second. The planning and zoning did not meet this week. Our next meeting will be on October the 19th. It's, I believe, 6 p.m. And our clerk can keep me honest about that.
That is correct.
That is correct.
All right. That takes us to ordinances and resolutions.
Okay. The first ordinance we have is ordinance 2021-17, an ordinance accepting the 2022 estimated entitlement for the local government support fund. This is on a second reading.
Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second?
A second.
So Jay and Craig. Roll call?
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes?
David?
Yes,
Melanie?
Yes,
Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Motion's passed on a second.
Okay.
Okay, ordinance 2021-19, an ordinance accepting a financial recovery plan / budget due to the financial emergency and declaring this as an emergency.
Courtney, I'd like to make a motion to amend this to change it to 3 readings, please,
Is there a second?
rather than emergency. Make it on 3 readings.
Okay, I'm sorry, just a second. To amend the change to 3 readings,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and Andy, you're placing the motion?
Mm-hmm.
A second.
Question. Are those 3 readings just going to be at 3 consecutive council meetings as
Mhm.
usual?
Yep.
Consecutive council meetings?
Well, let me put it this way. Whatever the schedule works out to be determined as appropriate ahead of the 20th. I think we have plenty of runway between now and the 20th to have 3 readings.
So you want the meeting scheduled before the 20th?
I believe the Fiscal Oversight Board is meeting on the 20th, and we should have our budget wrapped up before the 20th.
So,
Well in advance of the 20th, if possible, but certainly in advance of the 20th. So if we can have them on whatever, I don't know, let's see, what would the cadence be? So not 24 hours from right now, but I guess Wednesday and Thursday or Monday, something like that.
Do you want me to just send something out to everyone?
Yes, please ask if this works and if council's amenable, that's what I would propose.
Are we gonna have any more discussion about the budget? Because we were told when we sat down for the budget meeting that there would be another meeting to discuss it, and we never got that other meeting to finish discussing the remainder of the budget for 2022. It's in the minutes. That's the second statement that you made,
Yep.
that we were gonna have a second meeting. We never held that second meeting.
I don't know that I said we were going to have a second meeting on that particular thing, but I did say we would have follow-ups, and I think that that's one of the reasons why we need to have 3 readings, is an opportunity to have insight and understanding about what's in the
I
budget.
would like to have another meeting if we could schedule in between.
But it is
Another
just
reading?
general fund, is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
The entire budget?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so,
We
We're-
can work that out, I mean, in regards to however you guys want the meetings.
like, have a session before a meeting?
Yeah, because that'll fall underneath the finance committees.
But we're gonna vote tonight before having another meeting?
Our budget is due, our general fund budget, to be precise, is due to the oversight board by the 20th.
Correct.
Whether or not that is 1 reading, 7 readings, today, tomorrow, it's due there by the 20th. My preference is to have 3 readings and not have it as an emergency. I don't think these things are emergencies. I think you should just have them normally. But, we could get into the 11th hour and we all get into chambers and we have to have an emergency. But my preference would be to have 3 readings like normal people do, and we go forth from there. And that's the motion that's currently pending, I believe.
Right, but with that said, like a normal 3-reading piece of legislation is every 2 weeks, 3 readings every 2 weeks. But we're just gonna speed up the process in the next 8 days. and
Well,
get 3
to be
readings.
clear, you have additional time above and beyond this meeting, and you have additional time above and beyond the next one and the next one. It's just that you need to figure out when you're going to do this between now and the 20th. The oversight board is going to meet. We're not going off the fiscal cliff. So either we do it in an emergency or we don't do an emergency.
Well, we
My
could-
preference would be to not do it in an emergency because I think it gives everybody an opportunity to speak. If we don't want to do it that way and you want to have a work session, certainly that's possible, but those same goals can be met just in normal meetings.
Well, I think the reason that we're going for this is because council knows that this was not going to pass on emergency tonight. So to cut down on meetings, we could just have a work session, hash it out, so we all come to an agreement, and we could pass it on emergency, and we have 2 meetings instead of 4.
We would have, I'm not sure that I'm necessarily totally aligned with what you're saying because I believe the meetings that would be involved will be multi-hour discussions. And so I can easily foresee us getting into situations where we'd have more than 1 meeting. And so as a result, I'm still of the mind, and I've made a motion that we should just do this on 3 readings, and that way we can have normal meetings and normal discussions, and everything's open to the public.
So are you suggesting that instead of having another work session where we talk about the budget more, are you suggesting then before each of these meetings, we should just discuss it before each of the 3 readings? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, I'm not suggesting anything other than being prepared for the next meeting, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So if we're at a place where we're more or less done with the budget, reopening the budget on anything else other than a regular, normal meeting does not seem to make a huge amount of sense, but I could be wrong on that.
Well, when we finished the original budget meeting, some of us were under the understanding we weren't done. Were on a time crunch. We had a council meeting to follow, and I feel that there's things in the budget that we didn't discuss at that meeting, and we were under I was under the understanding that there was going to be another meeting to finish discussing parts of the budget that we hadn't discussed, such as hiring a village administrator, trimming some fat off of this or that. And then next thing I know, we had a meeting we discussed the EPA letter. It was extended for 5 minutes. We had 5 minutes to discuss it, and then council did not extend that meeting anymore, so I feel the discussion has not, we have not finished that discussion yet. And before we vote on it, we should all be on the same page. We should all agree. And if we have one work session where we can hash it out and we can discuss the things that some of us feel we need to discuss, maybe we don't come to an agreement, maybe we do. But I'm just asking everybody to come to the table and discuss it, because at this point, I feel like some people don't even want to hold that discussion. We can have a work session, we can discuss it, we can pass it on emergency. Then we have 2 meetings, not 3 or 4.
So we have a motion on the table and it's seconded. Are you interested in rescinding your motion based on the meeting?
Not today. I'd like to just have a vote, and if it fails, it fails, and that's fine.
Craig did, didn't he?
Second, I second
Yeah, he
it.
seconded it.
Okay, so at this point, we have a first and a second.
And this
Roll
is
call.
strictly just to have 3 readings.
Correct.
Yes,
To place this on the first reading. Yes. Instead of emergency. Okay, so Andy's first, Craig was second.
Yes.
Roll call.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Andy,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Melanie,
No.
Craig,
Yes,
Becky,
No.
Jay.
Yes.
Okay, the amend has been approved.
Okay,
The next one is for the first reading.
oh, okay. So we need a motion for putting this on the first reading.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a
I'll second.
That's Craig and Andy. Roll call?
David,
Yes.
Melanie,
No.
Craig,
Yes,
Becky,
No.
Jay,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
pass on the first.
Okay. As Chair of Finance, would you like to request a meeting or have a?
I would like to
meeting?
request a meeting, and how do you want to gather everyone's open schedules? Would you,
I
well,
have to have a 24-hour notice.
Yep.
So it would be, your 24-hour would be tomorrow at, let's just say 7, so anytime after tomorrow at 7. You would have to request.
not sure a number of us are available then. What about Wednesday morning?
Not good for me, I work.
I can hobble in.
Okay. Would you be available?
I'm whatever time.
You know, wherever you
available.
decide, Andy, yeah.
That should be okay.
I will have to check my schedule, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Do you want to send it out then?
Why don't you send it out, and we'll go ahead and put something on the website.
Wednesday morning, like is there a certain time?
Did you hear?
8 a.m., 9 a.m., I don't know.
Did you hear me that I have to work?
Yep.
What time, man? 9 a.m.?
Yeah, let's tentatively say 9 a.m.
Okay, okay.
So are we saying that we are not willing to further discuss the budget?
Absolutely, we're saying we're absolutely willing to further discuss the budget on Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Is that gonna be a work,
It will not be a work
so it's
session, it'll
just
be,
gonna be coming here and vote?
no, you have the opportunity to propose alternatives and changes.
This is not a work session, you're wanting.
This
an
is not a work
actual-
session.
actual
Anyone
meeting?
can make an amendment in a regular session.
I'm not sure that that's how that should work, but, I mean, it is what it is.
I just want to say really quick, just the lack of respect is mesmerizing that, you know, the first date thrown out there, I have a job and I have to work, and I relayed that to you, and everyone acted like they didn't hear it, and we're going to have the meeting anyway at that time. You know, the other day, in all transparency, it was just touched on when we had our budget meeting, EPA meeting, and then it went on to the budget. You know, Andy asked for a 5-minute extension, and it was voted 6-0 to give him that 5 minutes. And 5 minutes later, we weren't done, and I asked for an extension of 5 minutes, and it was voted down, 4 of our councilmen to 2. So I'm really disappointed and concerned with the lack of respect that my fellow council members are extending. So I just want to say that.
We must be also careful not to chastise votes, and also, again, also calling individuals misogynistic, and that's not the case. We disagreed.
Well, you know, when I left, I sat outside with the sheriff, and all of you guys, you 4 men that voted no
Correct.
to extend it 5 minutes, I sat out there, and none of you came out in the next 5 minutes. You all stayed in here. So it wasn't like you had something to do. I sat out right there, out there with the sheriff, and I watched, and no one came out for 7 or 8
To be
minutes.
specific, you were bringing up the administrator, which, in my opinion, I don't feel we need one at this time. It should not be discussed. That's why I voted no, if we need a reason. So that's why I voted no on the extension, because that was not a discussion.
So if there's something
So
you
you're
don't
saying you're
like,
not willing to even discuss it?
No, because it would not fit in our budget at this time.
well, that's just not true.
We're gonna be 88,000. If we pass the budget right now for 2022, we'll be 88,000 in the deficit.
That's just not
That's
true.
not true.
Ms. Bricker, is that true?
That is correct.
That's
Thank you.
just not true.
Yeah, according to your guys' printouts, that you guys have here in front of you.
Well, the auditor would not allow us to go 88,000 in the negative
He-
next year.
He will, and the reason why is because we have a savings account. Now, it's not to say we want to completely empty the piggy bank,
It's-
but there are exigent circumstances like the EPA coming in and telling us what to do. That's what that piggy bank is for. And so, no.
So we're not
I'm-
actually in the negative.
We are in the negative because we are going to exceed planned spending. And I'm personally at the place where we have met consistently over the last 6 months to measure, forecast, and map out what 2022 is going to look like. And we have consistently tried to be realistic about everything that we've done in the village. And spending has been flat. We are not repairing streets as a result of lots of different choices that we're now basically having to make. I'm just picking on me, my streets budget got whacked. But what I'm trying to say is that pragmatically, there's not a lot of budget shifting around in the general fund. There's not a lot of movement on it. And so especially after all the finance meetings we've had, and particularly this last work session where it's laid out in pretty black and white terms, I'm just kind of at the end of the road. We've met at a finance committee level for 4 months. And then at every other work session level, we've talked about the EPA in particular and the bathrooms and all that stuff for 6 months. And we're at a place where we have to deal with this. And I'm kind of there.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you,
I'm worried
I'm
about
kind of
the
there.
off
future of the
topic.
village without an administrative body here.
I mean, you are off topic and you're sending the conversation somewhere. There were several things, and you admitted it the other night, that we started to talk about, we never got to finish. And I specifically did ask at the end of that meeting, the budget meeting, if we were going to have another chance to come back and finish up, and I was told yes. And we just haven't had that opportunity yet. And I don't think it's fair for the 4 of you to hold out and say, well, we just don't want it now.
Is there any consideration to making the meeting on Wednesday later in the day?
Sure, why not?
What time would you be available to be here for a meeting?
After 2?
It sounds fine to me.
It'd be fine.
Okay, all right, what's,
After 2?
Why don't we post it for 2 o'clock?
okay?
Well, that makes it difficult because I work too.
Okay, what's good for you?
I will look at my calendar and see what works best, if we can be accommodating to all members.
Okay.
When we're talking about the general budget, I mean, this is a big step. I know we are on a time crunch to get it in, but I think because we're not passing it, I mean, we're on the 1st, but we're heading in the right direction. I think we need to be respectful and try to get that last piece worked out. Whether it ends up in the budget or not, that's here to be decided by all of you. So, all right, that takes us to roundtable. Anyone?
Oh, on Roundtable on November 11th, we're going to have a special Samaritan, along with the honoring Veterans Day, We're gonna have a special thing for all the flags and post 401, 4147. We'll have that all ready, and we're supposed to have some VIPs there, so it should be pretty good for let's pray for good weather for that. And also, I brought up about the old yearbooks at the museum. We've had people come in to look at the yearbooks. There was a man and his wife who graduated in 1939 and came in and seen herself as young people. And it's so good to have that. And like I said, anybody wants to come in on the museum, I gave the hours in case they want to see themselves, when they look like when they were young. All the yearbooks are there, and that's all I got to say. Okay.
Anyone else?
Yes. In our Madison Messenger, I know it's kind of a joke on Facebook. Everyone's, when's trick or treat? And it's been posted about 500 times, but all the surrounding areas are listed in the current Messenger for trick or treat, and some other local events going on. Mount Sterling Community Center is beginning to open up more and more for more activities down there, so that's a good thing. And Jay started to touch on it, that there's a lot going on Saturday, the 23rd. At the community center, they're having their big holiday bazaar, along with the downtown shops. They're having a shop hop and the Make a Difference Day, the drug pickups, and the cleanups. So, yeah, it'll be a great day to come out and support your community. Just want to remind everyone of that. And then someone had asked, maybe Marcy, about the fall and Halloween decorating contest. The Chamber of Commerce has typically been sponsoring that, and we're going to do it again this year. Judging will be on Friday, October 29th, about 5 p.m. So we'll drive around and look at all of those yards that are nominated. So please nominate yourself, nominate your neighbors, nominate anyone you think should be nominated, because we find this works best because then we don't accidentally miss someone. If you're nominated, we will definitely check you. And then the Chamber of Commerce will issue chamber bucks for prizes for that too, and those are always fun. You can spend them at your local shops here in Mount Sterling. So we will put a Facebook post out and try to maybe get some flyers out in all the local businesses so more people know about it. We'll post something here at Town Hall. So just call those in to Courtney, right? And you can also text me or Barbie if you need to, if Courtney's not returning your calls. I'm teasing. But, so anyway, so that's, I think, yep, that's all that I have for October. Meet the Candidate night, Marcy mentioned, I think, is tomorrow night. So come on out to the Mercantile. It's a beautiful venue. Have the opportunity to look around. He's very hospitable and lets you do a little tour of everything. So the doors open at 6:30, and then at 7 o'clock, let the fun begin.
So the beautiful yards, are you still doing that as well, or?
That's through nuisance.
Okay,
I don't know what they're doing.
okay. Somebody turned one in, that's why I wondered.
No, we kind of figured since Chamber was doing it, we didn't want to feel like we're competing with another entity in the village.
Okay.
So
Ours is more a decorate for Halloween and fun and spooky and, whatever, but
I'll just hold on to it until your meeting, and then if you decide to do anything with it, then we will. Anyone else?
oh, I want to thank the people that came and helped plant the mums. The mums in the pots were all donated by the Chamber of Commerce as well. And myself and Julia Orrs and Pat Arbogast were out planting them. I know Misty was helping here at Town Hall, and even Billy Martin, I saw him come and was digging up and planting some flowers. And we got our pumpkin out there, and
You always forget Jeff.
yeah, he does the grunt work, and Jeff. And then we had a gracious donation again, and his banner's out in the yard of the big bale of hay, and we spray painted that. And then Michael Starr keeps saying, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? So I said, hey, paint me some eyes and nose and mouth, and he did, and it looks great. So in addition to every year, we're getting used to having our turkey and our snowmans, and this year we've added a jack-o'-lantern too, so we have 3 seasons now. So thank you to everybody that helped with that.
All right. If there's nothing else, we will adjourn.
Thank you.
all.
Sorry.
We didn't pass stuff around. Did you need me to?
Yeah, right there at the edge of your desk.
I did, yeah, this needs to go that way.
You guys over here need to sign, I believe.